Hello, it's me Joe again. Today I'm doing a video of Minecraft Underground. I was inspired to make this because my mate had a server and he wanted a server sort of underground system built so get around the city. Um, he wanted it like really compact, yet it's got to go around the whole city. And we both discussed this for over an hour. I think it was. It was like, oh, I've got to go home at half 5. I was like, okay, well it's half 4 now. We started just debating on how it should work, and we came to a final conclusion that there's going to be sort of 2 or 3 rings um, of like tracks. There's going to be an inner ring in the city, a middle ring, and an outer ring. Um, yeah, so it's going to sort of be all linked by a fairly simple, fairly complicated control system. So this is what I'm going to sort of be planning for. This isn't the actual one I'm making here, but it's sort of about the 5th or 6th one I've ever made, because it's like I've done it over and over again rather than trying to fix one. I've just started from the beginning and tried new techniques and stuff, and I finally come to the conclusion that I'm going to use pistons a lot to get the actual minecart moving forwards, because below it here, that if you have powered minecart track, when it comes into the station, to stop it you have to have something behind it or else you carry on for ages. You can't just have a 3 block stopping radius like you wanted. You have to have a block come out in front of you. Which is why I just decided to have this type of station you'll see I've built in here. And that means you can get rid of one piece of powered minecart track, and basically the minecart flies across and goes onto the grass below or whatever's below it, and it just goes onto that block so it can't move when you jump out, and it's fail safe completely. You jump out, go into the station, and you exit by pressing a button, which also then basically triggers a chain reaction, which sends the minecart back, but on a different route than before, just right back up to the top of the actual station itself, which is a minecart dispenser on top of it, which uses pistons as well. So it isn't to scale on here what I'm building right now, because it's quite it's going to be a big 2000 by 2000 block city on my mate's server, or something like that. Anyway, he said something big, something around 2000 blocks. So he wanted me just to design something. So I decided, well, I'm not going to do a 2000 by 2000 block minecart system. I'm just going to build like a small version with a few stations rather than the amount of stations it's actually going to have. I haven't told him this yet, but it's a pretty good idea, and it's sort of pretty essential to cut down on redstone wiring. What you have is you have the inner ring, the middle ring, and the outer ring, and on each one there is a main station. Now, only these 3 main stations will you be able to press a button to send you on to the next track out. So the very inner one, you can press a button, it'll send you on the next track out, and the last station you'll go to will be the main station on the middle track. On the middle track, you can press a button to go to the next outer station, and the last station you go to on that track will be a main station. Now, the reason you got main stations is firstly for key points in the city, and also, like I just explained. And then after the last one, the last main station does not have a button to return, but it is in a key point, a really key point. And basically from then on, you just go past the main station and you'll automatically go back to the very center of the ring, or wherever, you'll go through all of the different places. So that's how that's going to work. Have used minimal redstone. I've tried to keep it sort of like small, and plus I've got the restrictions on having flatland world as well, because you have to have like, I think there's only 3 blocks down you can go, because you've got bedrock at the 4th block. And here I'm doing some little trick shots, trying to do a trick shot against a cow, like on COD, but it's failing. And then I test the sort of distance it's going to take. Then I actually managed to pull it off, sort of. But yeah, that's sort of like a COD trick shot on a cow, and that one fails. Yeah, so as per usual, well, not as per usual because I don't ever do commentating, or narrating, whatever you want to call it. I never. Oh, I was going to say something. Sorry for any background noise. That's what I was going to say, because like, you know, It's pretty hard to get everyone in the house to be like silent when you want them to be, because it just is. And then someone always stupid. I'm not mentioning any names, but someone who's always stupid and comes in and messes about and tries to annoy me and stuff. But yeah, so I got quite a long video to commentate, so I'm just going to talk about some random things I've been doing lately. Been doing crap on knee. Click my knee, dodgy then. A few things I've been doing lately. Some Lego videos. Well, some Lego videos coming up. I'm not going to say precisely what they are, but what I'm going to say is it's a four-wheeled car thing, and I'm not telling you what car it's going to be, but it's going to be a car basically, and it's going to be fast. Hopefully, knowing Lego though, it'll be fairly slow, just with enough power to get it going forwards. It's going to have independent suspension. Yeah, it's going to be pretty cool when it comes out. Right now while I'm commentating, I'm not even looking at the screen. I'm commentating at the moment, really, because I'm sitting here messing about with my newer style of this, because I built this and then I found a few problems with it, and then I just made it fail safe basically on here, and I've made it with the pistons, because on this one I didn't make it with pistons getting you going back and forwards or whatever it does in dispensing them, but on my latest one that I've made, I have made it with pistons, and I've got it all working fail safe properly, as in you walk in to the station you're on. If you're coming out, this is a main station that I'm talking about on this computer right now, because I got my other laptop up here. Basically, you walk into the main door, press a button, you go in, minecarts get dispensed for you, so you get a minecart in front of you, you jump into the minecart, press the button to go, and you go. Obviously, it all works now, because earlier it wasn't working, and it was sending every single minecart, switching the track and putting it back into the dispenser. Now I've fixed that, so it only switches tracks and puts it into the dispenser when you want it to, i.e. when you're leaving the station. So when you press the button to leave the station, you leave, but at the meantime, what it does is it's got perfect timing. It sends the minecart out of the station, along this bit, and then quickly switches the rails to this other piece. Takes it back underground, back up a steep ramp, and back into a dispenser. Now, you're probably going, dispenser 1.2.5? What are you on about? Basically, a dispenser is where I'll build it now, because it's easier to commentate about what I'm building. So basically, when you build a dispenser, it's like a long Pez machine tube thing that you build upwards, and I'm just building that right now. And instead of using the old trapdoor style with the torch and all that, because that doesn't work anymore because the trapdoor goes too slow, basically you use a sticky piston and a block in front of the sticky piston, obviously, because what's the point in having a sticky piston if you don't have a block in front of it to stick to? Unless you're short on other pistons for no particular reason. So yeah, then you got one block just to hold the one above it in, just in case, because they seem to stack very well. Minecarts do. Then you leave a one block gap. Well, you got to look down the center of the Pez machine tube or whatever effectively is. Sorry about the dog barking in the background. At the bottom, if you look down, there is no track, unlike the one with the trapdoor where there would be track. This one you leave no track, and you go ahead and then go one block in front, so this is outside of the tube of the Pez machine, and you place like some power minecart track and power that. Sorry, this is kind of ruined commentating, but oh well, I'll carry on. Yeah, so once you've placed I've put a switch on the back of the piston, a button, because the whole station's got to be powered by buttons, which means I'm going to have a lot of RS latches, because they're the smallest version of, not necessarily smallest width-wise, but there's this other one you could do, I forget what it's called now, but you press a button, and it switches one thing on or the other thing on, or one thing off and one thing on and one thing off and one thing on, basically like that. This one just means you have either one side on or one side off. It's a lot simpler. You can fit it in quite a lot of gaps, which is why I'm using it, really. A lot easier to use, and plus I know it well. I can build it, straight away. Um, right, you have a large ramp, steep ramp, going up to the actual dispenser part of the minecart Pez machine dispenser thing. Um, I'm just building that right now, so that's why I've gone quiet. Um, and then you have powered minecart track along the top, until you get to the last block where you place normal minecart track, so you can go around the corner. Because powered minecart track only goes in straight lines, and it can go up hills as well, but that's not the point. Um, then you place a torch somewhere to power the track going up the hill, which I've done now. And then I'm gonna make this a continuous loop one, because don't really want to be destroying minecarts the whole time. Um, so yeah, that's basically a very simple Pez machine for minecarts. Basically, it uses a piston to push the minecart off of the ground onto a piece of track in front of it, which then powers it forwards because it's the way it is. So you can press it and it pushes it onto the track, goes right at the top, goes back in again, but obviously doesn't for me because I've forgotten to power a piece of track, and also I don't actually want it to go on to another track. I just want it to go straight back in because normally it goes on another track. Now I was contemplating perhaps having on the actual tube system we're going to have, or whatever you want to call it, some sort of auto system to refill every single Pez machine. Now I've had a go at it earlier. Yeah, it would work, but the wiring is huge. Everything is like really big, and it's hard to fit it all in. Um, Fitting wiring in on Minecraft is a big problem. For me, it just is, because a lot of the wiring I do is quite spread out at the beginning. Because a lot of the time I'm just building prototypes, and then I never do build a prototype, and I just keep it. Because basically I build stuff spread out at the beginning to make it easier to see everything, easier to see how things are going to work, what would and wouldn't work, how something doesn't work. Because if you've built something really compact underground, it's hard to go through things and look at what doesn't work. Whereas if you built something big, spaced out above ground beforehand, you know what sort of you're gonna have to include. Like if you're gonna have to put a reverser in, or you're gonna have to change the direction of the Arsenal latch, or I don't know, little things like that. Little bits of like placement of track as well. But yeah, that's the basic sort of stuff that you have to look out for. Turning back to the screen that I'm actually commentating or narrating on, whatever you want to call it. So basically I was building Arsenal latch here and I was messing up because I forgot how to for some reason, because I was having one of them brain farts, if you want to. But I actually found a really compact way of building these things, and now I was just testing that it worked because I was having a brain fart, of course. Because everything has got to be fitted in this small gap in the track that's 3 wide, and obviously 3 deep because you've got the nothingness below you. And if you fall through that, you never find it again because I haven't got regenerate structures or whatever it is. So, yeah. So there I was just like messing up because I got a brand new mouse, obviously. I was like loving the mouse and everything, and I'm not used to it though because it's quite a sensitive mouse. Like it's a limited edition Logitech one. It's wireless, so it's got a tiny little bit you plug into the side of my computer, and it's got a really awesome blue top, and it uses a infrared laser thing instead of the old ball mouse I had, which had a ball in it, and it failed every 5 seconds. You couldn't like turn without it jolting because it wouldn't like grip onto the surface below it because someone scraped holes in the desk. No names mentioned again. You can actually turn the actual mouse on and off because it is battery powered. But like, oh, that's just not what I expected. Comes with a 1 AA battery angled in the bottom, which is pretty awesome the way it goes in. I've got to be careful not to leave the actual mouse on though, because I don't want it to run out of power. But that's the good thing about these mouses. You have to be more conscious about turning things off, which means you're probably gonna be more likely to turn your computer off and stuff. Alright, what am I doing now? Oh yeah, I was building the station. I don't think this station on here was to scale. obviously I've actually made this save on here that I've got videoed. I made it on my actual normal laptop, which has got the computer screen because the other screen smashed on it. I built it and I've rebuilt like all the parts of it, and I've put the Pez machine different. I've actually put a Pez machine on top instead of having one somewhere else, which is a better idea to say the least. And my voice is like being annoying now. I've got a sore throat from talking because I'm not used to talking for so long. There is a few little bits and bobs I've got to cover and sort out, and just generally one hole in the wall with a piece of redstone showing is all I've got to sort. Apart from that, it actually looks a lot better than the previous station because it's got a little roof thing on it. You get out, it's really spacious inside, and obviously I've got to still build the thing that only main station is going to have, which is the button to go to the next track out. But apart from that, yeah, that works. And also, I don't know whether I still got the one from this save or not. I don't know whether I've changed it. I don't think I have. But anyway, it's the one where you get when you go into the next outer track. It's so that when you go onto it, it like it automatically switches you right, and then it switches left back to its original position, so you come straight back onto the track, which is quite a cool feature. Because then what it means is that the main station, which is going to be right next to it, you can go off just before you get to that point, and go off to wherever onto the next outer track, and it'll switch straight back. Which means you're not going to have to have any master reset switches on points, because they'll all reset themselves by when people go over them. So yeah, that's why I've done that. Oh, what the hell that noise was in the background? I could hear a creaky door. Yeah, I'm just messing about right now, like, going in and out of my current version of this, because it's pretty fun to do. I'm probably not going to ride off in the minecart. I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to leave the station and watch it go back into the Pez machine, because it's awesome to watch. I could make it a lot more compact at the moment, but I just haven't, because I haven't found the time at the moment. Yeah. There we go. Goes underground, back up a hill, back into the Pez machine, ready to be dispensed later. Each Pez machine can hold 3, but it'll only hold... Oh, it can hold 4 in effect, but it's only going to hold 2 max. So that if any other stations, like minecarts, come along and get put into this one, then it will be, like, resorted. And what I might even have is a automatic dispensing machine, so if it does overflow, and they can go off to like the left to the next little station, and then if that overflows, go to the next station on this ring, so like all in a big ring. But depending on redstone size, I might not do that. Obviously the actual size of the whole track is going to be a lot bigger, because at the moment I've only got like a 80 by 80 track, maybe a little bit more than that, and 2000 by 2000 at the biggest is very, very big. It is going to be phenomenally hard to build it. Not hard to build it, but just it'll take so long to do. But then I've got the advantage of having actually more room to build it in, because it's 2000 by 2000. But I've been told that basically I'm only allowed the space below the track, and I think he said the tunnels were going to be 7 wide by 7 tall, and allowed all the space below for redstone wiring, which is, yeah, pretty good actually. I could do that easy. I mean, as long as I can go down really far. Now I can have multiple layers of redstone wiring if I need it, but I won't. So it's just there. It's that little buffer, pillow, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, this is the system that switches the minecart point thing, which switches it back to the Pez machine, which is pretty cool. So when you click that, it goes round there and onto that track, and obviously that track wasn't powered, but it would go onto there normally. Yeah, and I remember that hole, fill it in, because I didn't want to fall down it and then accidentally click and go through the bedrock. because that is the most annoying thing when you're on this game, like game mode on flatland, because you know you haven't got so much of a deep um landscape. You can't go as deep. But anyway, you see this working now. After I've powered that, it goes along there and flicks onto that track. That now goes under. It drops down a hole, goes underground, goes up a massive hill, which is just to your right there now, and it goes on top back into the dispenser, which is pretty cool. Ah yeah, and that block there that I've just put in is gone, and that's where a piece of redstone's showing. So I'm gonna have to like fix that somehow, because below it is a piston, and I can't seem to find a way to fix that. That Yeah, that was a new thing I added. Not lately, but because in previous builds I've had like no walls anywhere, and I've just because I don't know if you saw, but when I was actually creating the world, there was another world called just HV Underground, and that was my first attempt at any minecart like proper rail systems. So it was a bit trickier for me because it's obviously my first ever attempt, and because I don't know, but I don't know whether appear to be good at redstone or anything, but I'm no pro with redstone. I just know that repeaters only let power through one way. You can make points using redstone to track, and you can power minecart track and use torches to transfer power and make reversals and bits and bobs. So I know sort of the basics, but it seems to be quite a complicated little thing because it does so many functions in a very compact area. And it only does effectively three functions, but you only notice two happening. Because one is when you go into the door and out of the door, that's one, and one is when you press to go to the next station. So, and yeah, that button, what it does is it sends power up to the higher level where the dispenser is. So on the way into the station, it powers this piece of rail along here. Sorry, and it powers that minecart off and onto the track below, which is a really cool feature that I've only recently come up with. There you go, and it powers it, puts it on there, and you go off on it and whatever. That button actually sends it off back into the dispenser. Sorry, I've got hiccups now. I'm trying to hide them. There you go. I think I've sorted them. Yeah. How long this video have I got left to commentate on? Oh, ages. Another 7 minutes. I find it hard to talk about different stuff because I haven't really got like a list of topics. I think that's what quite a lot of narrators, well, commentators do. They when they're commentating on like COD videos, they don't actually talk about the COD too much in general. They generally talk about other stuff, a little bit about it, but other stuff in general. Um, Really, there is no other stuff to talk about. Um, Other than nothing else, basically. Um, yeah, I'll talk about the automatic dispenser that I made. Now, what I was gonna have, and I did say in my first video, which I didn't actually end up putting out, so that's okay. Basically, um, what I was gonna have is I was gonna have a thing. So when it detected, because they could only hold one minecart at this point, when it detected a minecart leaving, it would dispense another minecart to the dispenser on top of the station. So that was pretty hard to do in the fact that it was just like so much wiring in such a small space, and it sort of got very tangled up and messy. So I decided to ditch that, and then I did try it again, and basically it would detect when a minecart went in. That would switch the points to normal, so it could go along to the next one. It was basically like another rail network above the normal one. But I remember my mate saying there was not going to be much space between the actual underground and above ground, which is why I've kept it so that I think it's above you. You have one, two, three. You have about 7 blocks of ground above you, which is a pretty substantial amount, and it's going to be plenty of room to build stuff without disturbing this. I don't know how you meant. I don't know what you meant by only a little bit of room above the actual underground, but He hasn't told me at all, and I haven't. He said to go on his server, but he isn't. He's at work today. Um, he said to go on his server to like have a look at the actual hole they've dug, but it's got to be made like huge yet, and I'm gonna go and help reluctantly, but I'm gonna go help dig this 7x7 tunnel for absolutely forever. I think he said he wants it extending by 1,000 blocks as soon as possible. Something like that, something annoying to build. But yeah, that's gonna be annoying. This is this system I said where it drops underground, goes underground, and straight back into the Pez machine. So here's the actual hole that it drops down to. The powered minecart track links up to the hill there. Then it is all powered by a couple of torches, I think it is, and that has to be gotten rid of because you can't go around corners with powered minecart track. It has to be left at as normal track. So I remember that powers all that. That doesn't work. I'm not sure why. I think it should, but it doesn't. Yeah, I can see what that works, but I can't see why the other one doesn't work. Well, it's sort. I can sort of see, but it's weird. There we go. I was just checking a little bit because I thought that was going to affect something below or above. I didn't want it to affect any of the redstone wiring because it's annoying when you build loads of stuff and it ends up like just messing up and everything is interacting with everything and it's not doing exactly what you want it to do. It's just being annoying. That's what I had a little while ago. There was two buttons doing the same function, which were the leave station button, carry on to the next station basically button, which is the one just up there, and this one was doing the same as that one. So they're both effectively two leaving buttons. That was a bit pointless. I found it anyway. So obviously I changed that and I fixed that. I made it more compact by fixing it as well. And I found out that this still works as well. Since then I've made that way more compact. As you know, it takes up a 2 gap space with getting rid of the minecart instead of a 3 gap wide. And above it, the Pez machine can hold 3 or 4, 5, something like that. And it's not much taller at all. Yeah, I don't know what happened there. I was just sort of messing about at this point, trying to mess about, but there's other minecarts on the track just messing up. And that was another thing I discussed with him. I was thinking, like, you know, what if two people are on this at the same time? And I was thinking, well, it's going to be very unlikely, and also, it's going to be everyone is going to be going in the same direction on each ring of track, because I think it's going to be the inner one, which is a anti-clockwise, the outer one, which is a clockwise, and the outer one, which is going to be an anti-clockwise. So you're never going to have two people colliding, even though you've got one track, which is, I think, pretty cool. And it's all like auto resetting, so that's pretty cool as well. So no two people's courses are gonna, get in the way of each other's at all. And yeah, this is a point where I found out that I put a torch 1 block too far forwards, not too far forwards, but 1 block further forwards, so I couldn't actually power that track below. So then I had to switch it back, and the block that it's on now has a piston block pushed out like the Pez machine I described earlier, and it pushes it onto the power piece of track in front of it, which is powered, and down into that hole and then away. Oh, and that's got a piece around it like I'm just building here, which stops the minecart from going anywhere else apart from down into the gap. So yeah.